So this video is about the fifth chakra, which is the throat chakra. Now this is such a beautiful center because it's about self-expression, it's about speaking up confidently, and it's about living and expressing our purpose. So if you think that you might have some issues with any of those life areas or qualities, it's a sign that your throat chakra might be out of balance. So in this video, I'll talk about the qualities of the throat chakra. I'll talk about how to know if your throat chakra might be blocked, and also how you can balance your throat if you think that there might be issues with your throat chakra. So first of all, the chakras are centers of consciousness. That's the best way to think of them. Okay, we have all these energy points which run along the spine, and each one governs a life area. It governs certain qualities in us as human beings. And actually, once we start to really understand our chakra system, we can start to really map what's happening in the body, why that might be happening, what kind of habits and thought patterns are causing those issues to happen. And those issues can be either physical or they can be manifestations in our life. So the throat chakra, what are the qualities of the throat chakra? Now, I always like to use a bit of a story and an example to help illustrate what this chakra represents and when it's really balanced. So the Indian epic story, the Mahabharata, for those of you that are familiar with it, you will know about a character called Yudhishthir. For those that don't know, he was the oldest brother of 5 brothers in this story, who were the kind of the goodies. We had the baddies and we had the goodies. And Yudhishthir was the goodie and the eldest of the goodie brothers, right? So all of the brothers embody, or were said to embody, qualities. They were kings. They were said to embody qualities that we as human beings should try and have and nurture in ourselves. So Yudhishthir, being the eldest of the brothers, he represented the throat chakra and a very balanced and happy throat. So what was he like? Yudhishthir was said to be a very, very righteous king. He was said to always do the right thing. So he lived life according to dharma, according to righteousness, according to his purpose. He was also known to speak very, very kindly, to speak words of kindness and truth. It's said he never told a lie. Okay, there was a one time he told a half lie, and there were consequences actually when he told that half lie. But he was known to be a truth teller and to never tell a lie, almost never tell a lie. He was also somebody who was very balanced. So Yudhishthir knew when to speak, but also when to listen. It was very, very important that he had that balance between speaking and listening, because it helped him as a king to form alliances with other kings who then later helped him. Okay, as the eldest of the brothers also, he was known to be very, very wise. Yeah. So if you think about his qualities, the qualities that Yudhishthir had, those, they say, are the qualities that we start to embody when our throat chakra is really balanced. We become really truthful. We become really authentic to who we are. We express ourselves in a way that's really balanced. Okay, so we know when to speak, but we also know when to listen. Yeah, we have a calm energy about us. We also embody this kind of righteousness, this energy of righteousness, but without being arrogant or without looking down on people. We just live our life in a way that is in accordance with our purpose and in accordance with spiritual principles. Okay, so that's when your throat is really, really balanced. So you might be thinking, well, I don't know. I don't know if that's me, and I don't know if my throat is blocked or balanced. So how can you know? So some qualities of a blocked throat chakra. So if you think your throat chakra might have issues, here are some things to look out for. You probably, if it's blocked, will have issues expressing yourself. You'll have issues speaking up and speaking up your truth. Okay? Now, I had a client actually who was in a relationship in which he felt he couldn't speak up. He couldn't speak up and speak his truth because his partner was very kind of domineering and didn't really let him speak up for himself. So what started to happen is he started to then struggle to speak up, not only in his relationship but also in other parts of his life. He struggled to assert for himself at work. He started to develop stiffness in the neck and shoulders. And it was because, if you think about it, when energy rises, so energy goes up and goes down via these channels of energy in our body. Okay, so what was happening for this client of mine, his lower chakras, the energy was being pushed up. So if you think about water coming up like a river, water was getting pushed up, but then it was getting blocked. Okay, so it got to the throat and then it was getting blocked. And as a result, when that energy gets pushed up and then it has nowhere to go, it comes up as stuckness. So that can show up as we go to speak, but we cough or we stumble or something stops us. Or it can show up physically as well. So if energy is constantly being pushed up and has nowhere to go because we're not expressing it, then we can find that we get stiffness and stuckness around the throat and neck areas. Now, this is not medical advice, so I'm not saying that I'm diagnosing neck issues or shoulder issues, but I am saying that if you do notice stiffness in the neck and you think there might be something going on with you and how you express yourself, it really could be worth focusing on balancing the energetics and working on the throat chakra and starting to learn to express yourself in a very balanced and kind way, just like Yudhishthir did as well, or was said to have done. So other signs that your throat chakra might have problems is if you notice that people say to you a lot that, you talk a lot, or if people say to you, you never listen. Now, it's something to just notice as feedback, because if people say that to you quite a lot, there could be something there, that there's an imbalance. You might be somebody who really feels the need to speak a lot, but actually you don't listen. Or you're somebody who always listens, but actually never says anything in response, never actually speaks your truth. Okay? Remember, it's a sign that there's no balance there. And always when we're working with the chakras, we always want to come to a place of pure balance. Yeah, that really healthy balance between speaking and listening. Other signs, your throat might be blocked. So if you think about it, the throat chakra is related to self-expression in all its forms. So not just speaking, letting our life be a physical expression of who we are, right? So if we're not doing that, if we are not expressing our purpose, if we are not living our purpose, we can actually start to develop a blockage in the throat. I'm touching the back of my neck because that's where the throat chakra is located. And this can actually show up as addictions. So we might get very addicted to things that we find pleasurable. So an addiction, remember, can be to anything. It can be to spending. It can be to food. It can be to any habit, actually, right? Any unhealthy habit. So again, a sign that your throat is out of balance is if you think you might have an addiction. And the reason that's happening, right? I'm going to break it down for you. Why does this happen? So this is a bit advanced, but hopefully it will make sense. The reason that we get addicted or develop addictions is because the sacral and the throat are linked. The sacral is the second chakra. The sacral governs joy, creativity, what we love to do. Okay? So if the sacral governs joy and our life purpose is always something that we love to do, it's always about joy, our sacral gets really, really, really happy when we can do something we love. So let's say you love sport. Okay? The sacral is really, really happy when you're playing sports. But then the energy rises up and it has nowhere to go when it gets here. right? So if you know your purpose or your joy in life is sports, and that's what you're here to do, is to do sport or to teach about sport or to coach sport, which is actually something one of my clients wanted to do. When you can't live that purpose and you can't express that purpose because you're not living it, the energy will rise up, it'll come to the throat, and then it has nowhere to go. And then as a result, you might start to develop unhealthy habits to go and seek pleasure and joy elsewhere, because you're not getting that pleasure and joy from your work. So going back to this example of this client, this was somebody who really loved sport, wanted to get into sport, wanted to develop a business in sport, but actually was doing nothing about it. So his sacral was pushing energy up to his throat, but he was still doing his corporate job and actually not really taking action on his purpose. And as a result, he developed issues speaking up, stiffness in the neck he would notice quite a lot, but also most importantly, he started to chase superficial pleasures. So things like gambling, actually, in his case, he started to notice that he was looking for that joy, for that fix. Okay, so as I say, it's not a substitute for medical advice or any kind of diagnosis, but just for you to become aware that if you notice yourself chasing superficial pleasure, chasing something or doing something repeatedly that you know is an unhealthy habit, and you're doing it because it temporarily gives you a bit of relief, it's a big sign, a really big sign that you need to start looking into your purpose and expressing that purpose and living that purpose, because your throat chakra really wants you to. Okay? So that's some signs that your throat chakra might be blocked. So it's things like issues speaking up, perhaps physical stiffness in the neck and the shoulders, and also addictions or even slight addictions to unhealthy habits. Another really big sign is a lack of confidence speaking up. Okay, if you really struggle to speak up and public speaking is a problem for you, it's a sign your throat and probably also your sacral are imbalanced and lacking energy. So what can you do if you think, oh, you know what, my throat is blocked, I'm sure I need to work on my throat chakra? There's a number of different, in yoga, so in Vedic philosophy, there's a number of different ways that you can come to balancing a chakra, okay? And I would encourage you to really pick the one that works for you. So you can use colors, you can use mantras, you can use yoga, you can use all of them, all of the above, they work. I would start with something simple and something that you feel a connection to. I always think yoga is a great starting point because we work with the physical body. And if you think about it, the minute you do that, you're physically opening up your throat and actually you're creating space for energy to flow. So for example, something like the Sphinx or the Cobra, really, really good for opening up the throat. The other things you can do, you can connect to the colour blue. The sacral chakra is governed or ruled by the colour blue. So you could wear blue if you have to do something that involves public speaking. You could put some elements of blue around your house so that you're connecting to that colour, because the consciousness of the colour helps to open up the throat. Don't worry about what kind of blue it is. There's no rules. It really does depend on what works for you, what kind of blue you're drawn to and attracted to. The other thing I will say is I would highly encourage you to meditate on your throat chakra. It's only by going within that you will really and truly connect to this center and to really have it speak to you. So I'll give you an example. When I started to meditate on my chakras and I started to really place my energy, my consciousness and my attention on these different centers, I would get intuitions about things I needed to do. That chakra would speak to me. Something would happen. I'd either get like a flash, an image of something I needed to do, or I would get the feeling that there's some action I need to take, our chakra system, your chakra system, will actually speak to you, will communicate with you when you place your attention consciously on it and close your eyes and go within. Okay? So really strange things will happen. So for example, when I first meditated on my root chakra, I saw an elephant. I saw Lord Ganesh. When I meditated on my sacral, I actually saw the goddess Saraswati. Okay? And she's actually traditionally associated with the throat. But I saw her when I meditated on my sacral. So for me, it was a sign. Both are linked, and a sign that I need to pursue something teaching and expressing, and actually what I'm passionate about, because she is the goddess of knowledge. Okay, so I needed to share my knowledge, and I saw that very clear vision when I meditated on my sacral. So meditate on the throat chakra. I think that is such a powerful way of building that connection. And then the other thing you can do, the throat chakra is ruled by the element of ether. So breathing exercises are really good, breathing techniques are really good. Any pranayama is really, really good for opening up the throat. So that's a lot of information about the throat. I hope it's got you curious. I hope it's got you wanting to go within. I hope it's got you wanting to really find out about your energy system, because really there's magic within. Anything you need, anything you want to manifest, anything you want to create, it's all within. Okay? Stop looking outside of you for the answers. Go within. Your system, your energy system, and your consciousness will give you everything you need to actually start to fix and heal your life and the parts of your life that you want to improve. So this is Pooja Eldiman. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Get to know your throat chakra. Please like, comment, subscribe, and share this video, share this knowledge for people to start empower themselves with this ancient knowledge. And I will see you in the next video. Place in the comments anything you'd like me to talk about, any questions you'd like me to answer, so that you can inspire future content as well. Have a fantastic day, and do go and express who you are beautifully. See you next time. Bye.